Hello, I'm Pastor Keith Mozingo of Metropolitan Community Church of Baton Rouge. I want to thank you for clicking on the video of our worship message. Please go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/MCCBR to see the entire worship service, including prayers, special music, and communion. You're also welcome to join us every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. for worship service. Stay tuned after the message for information on how you can stay in touch with us. Well, this week I spent hours in sermon preparation. Does that make you feel good?
Yeah.
Hours in sermon preparation. I even had a meeting with Brother Mike, and we did some planning over the last couple of weeks and kind of mapping out what's going to happen, because we have the last couple of Sundays of this month and the first Sunday of next month is our annual stewardship sermon series, and what we're doing before then, what we're doing after then, and leading up to Advent, and then Christmas. And Christmas, our Christmas Eve service will be on a Sunday this year. So we'll probably have a morning service instead of an evening service, that kind of thing. So we were just mapping out, and I was so proud that we were kind of working ahead, and I kind of know, and I've got a feeling. And then I sat down to work on sermon for this Sunday, which I already had told him what it was about. And again, a little pride. I was like, well, this is going to fit really good leading up to our stewardship series coming up later this month. And then I just couldn't get peace about it. And so I tried something else, and I just couldn't get peace about it. And then I tried from this angle and that angle and another angle, and I couldn't get peace about it. And I finally just stopped, and I said, well, Lord, what would you like? Maybe that's where I should have started. I think that's usually where I start, but this Sunday, I had been teaching in that service series on the Beatitudes, so I knew from the beginning of that what was coming, and the Lord had already directed all of that. But this time I didn't know, and I said, well, Lord, what do you want? What is it that you want? And the Spirit spoke to me. I was sitting at my desk in office on Thursday, and the Spirit spoke back to me just as quickly as I asked, after I was frustrated. And the Spirit said to me, there's enough bad news going on all over the place. And you, meaning me, need a little encouragement yourself. And you need a little hope yourself. And you need a little peace yourself. And you need a little love yourself. Yes. So you need to hear what I've been doing for other people. I said, okay, I got that. Now, usually we do around Thanksgiving sometime, we'll do a kind of testimony service where you get to preach a little bit in 2-minute sermons, 2.5-minute sermons. And I had actually, Mike and I had talked about doing that at the end of next month, but the Spirit obviously did not want that. Now. So there's a now moment. And so my first thought was, you know what, Lord, you're right. There's enough negativity going on in the world. If you haven't noticed, turn on your news. There's enough negativity going on in America. If you didn't know, turn on your news. Yep. There's enough negative going on in Louisiana. If you didn't know, read the paper. There's enough negative going on in East Baton Rouge Parish. Yep. There's enough negative going on here in Baton Rouge proper. There's even enough negative going on Blue Ribbon Drive. That's where I live. And there's even enough negative going on in here. Those two sides. And trying to be gracious and graceful and tactful and pastoral And sometimes your own pain will not stop. And yet, the Spirit says, there's hope,
Amen.
there's peace,
Amen.
there's love,
Amen.
there's joy,
Yes.
there's long suffering. We know that part real well.
Yeah.
But there is peace of mind, and there is a blessing. And God spoke to me and said, you have been blessed. And that some of you are itching to tell it. So that's what we're going to do. And I will start this off with not my own testimony, but I spoke with our former prayer team leader, Julia Boone Spalding, and Kathy this morning on the phone. You all know that they just recently moved away, and they're living with relatives in Jacksonville, Florida. And she's been looking for a job, and they've been looking for a place of their own. And they've got all their stuff in storage, and nothing has been working out. Nothing has been working out. So they had finally decided last week, well, we'll just pack up and go back to Baton Rouge because, that would be all right. I hope y'all are watching because you said you would be. You heard the applause. And then the day they finally prayed and said, well, God, you just got this. I guess this is all that's left. The phone rings, and Julia has a job with more money than she was making here.
Amen.
And the phone rings again, and there's an apartment that they've been approved for, and everything was solved in one day. They're applauding not because they're not coming back to us, but because God has answered prayer for you.
Amen.
Because they felt led to go. They felt the Spirit drawing them to go as much as it hurt them to leave us. And yet, they were struggling for a bit. And then God just in one day turned everything around.
Amen.
Is that all right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I suspect you have a few words. Now, remember, yours are sermonettes. You don't get to preach for 20 minutes because then nobody else gets to preach, right? So we want your good words. I don't want to hear what the enemy of your soul has done for you this week. We want to hear the good news. We want to hear your word and testimony because what you have to say, somebody else in here, and I know one, needs to hear.
Right.
I want you to be able to witness of something good that God has been doing for you and ready to tell it in 2 to 2.5 minutes. Now, you've got a microphone here, and we got people. I'll bring it to you. Brother Eric's back there on the mic. He's been instructed at 2.5 minutes, and he has a stopwatch. 2.5 minutes, the mic goes off, goes dead, and we move it to somebody else. Okay? So you got to concisely say what God's been doing for you. So be thinking. All right? You got it? Now some of you are already ready to put your hands up. Go ahead. Let's hear what God's been doing for you. Come on, brother. Yes. You don't have to go up. You can just do it right where you are. Come on. Go up to the
All right.
mic.
This past month, as y'all know, I rediscovered my life 13 years ago. I picked up my 13-year sobriety check.
Yeah.
Right after that, a long-lost cousin, her nephew is in jail for life for heroin. And then her son, my cousin that I rediscovered again after like 21 years, something like that. Her son is in prison for some tickets and stuff that he had to pay. So by bringing my cousin, she used to come over to my home, my mom and dad's house where I grew up, and she would spend the night with my sisters. And so we're just kind of redeveloping everything. And one of her sons lived in New Orleans, so we went to New Orleans last week just to check on him and help him clean his house and do things. But this rediscovered type of life has been coming to me in the last couple months, and I'm really grateful for that. And also for my church members and Pastor Keith. Thank you.
Well, one thing I have to say is that for the past week or so, I've been really down. I have no strength. and I wasn't feeling good, but because someone finally realized that I need to do what the doctor said and to take the medicines, I've taken the medicines and I'm feeling 100% better.
Amen.
Like that.
I have been doing devotionals every morning, and something slapped me in the face, hit me on the head. I just claim it. I am a citizen of heaven. We can look at the news and we can read the paper, and it's really disheartening. And my spirit just chooses to look up, to look to God, and to live my life that I have control over. And I'm trying to live Christ-like. That's my goal, is trying to live like Jesus lived on earth. And he blesses me all the time. So,
Amen. Amen.
This last year I dropped out of college. I couldn't keep up with my classes, and recently I learned to actually have a learning disorder. And so it turns out I can get help and go back to my classes and achieve what I wanted to.
Boy, coming all over the place over here.
I went to Albertsons this morning, and I said, "Good morning, everybody." There's beautiful young women and older women getting ready for church, and I knew I had something wonderful going in my heart. And I've learned from experience that it's better to have the the commandments of Jesus, which are healing the heart, learning to see people as humans, not labels, as opposed to the Mosaic 10 Commandments of stone, where there's nothing. It's all hard, and my heart was hard, was hard. But now it's living and spiritual, and I just each day is a day of gratitude, and I'm grateful to be here. And the changes have come in my life, and I've gotten real down about that. But I'm here to tell you, when I stop and refocus and I say, "God, would you please take this and let me live the way you want me to live?" It happens, and I'm blessed in my own personal life with my daughter and her 3 special furry cats who love me. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you, Jesus, for the perfect doctor's report that I got this last Wednesday.
all right.
Amen.
Amen.
Good morning, MCC. Y'all don't know who I am. I'm John Dingan. Sometimes in our lives, we have things that happen, and we feel like that's the devil. And it's not always the devil. Sometimes God does things in our life to actually break us down, to actually build us up.
Yes.
About a month ago, I recently lost my job on a technicality because of someone else's wrongdoing. I was like, why did this happen, Lord? Why? And I was like, I know I'm trying to do some things in my life to get situated for my future, and my plans were to get back in school. And I'm like, how am I going to do that with the position that I'm in, because I was promoted to a department head? I'm like, Lord, I'm trying to figure all this out. So in doing that, he actually removed me from that, broke me down, was going through a very, very stressful situation for about a month, started Ubering and whatnot, and focusing more on my makeup, and got a phone call and got a position now with the lake for a night position that's actually going to put me in the position to able to do what I set out to do, which actually is start school back in the spring and be able to work at night. So sometimes everything that happens bad is not the devil. Sometimes God does things to make a way for us to do the things that we're trying to achieve. So I kind of all enjoy it.
Getting top heavy over here. Or size heavy, I should say.
What no limit. That's no joke. He used to always tell me 2 minutes.
Well,
I've been having a pretty rough time lately since the automobile accident last year. Part of the damage is in the nasal cavity, and I tend to have bleeding going back into the lungs. So it's made an awful rough time with the asthma. And I think there are too many times we fail to recognize that each breath we take is a gift. And when you are fighting for a breath, or the next breath, you think about that sometimes. And thank God I get each one as they come.
I just want to thank God for making a way for me to finally get back to church today.
Amen.
This week I learned that I will be able to retire from the state sooner than what I thought I would be. And I will be taking up a second career. And the area that I've been volunteering in, that experience will be transferable.
Amen.
So I'll be able to probably counsel with other people, which is what I originally wanted to do when I started college right after school. So that was good news for me.
Even though Larry and I have a lot of health problems, one thing has never been taken away from us. We have joy for each other, and we have joy for everything that comes in our life, no matter how big or how small. And you can't be joyful when something big comes in your life, but it's not for us. It's every little small thing that comes to us is joy.
I've, through most of my life, struggled with a sense of isolation, even when around friends and loved ones. And since I've gotten to know you in the MCC community and the wider community that meets in this building, I've gotten a chance to realize that I'm not always alone. I'm always surrounded by people who love me. I may not realize it. I may be blind to it.
Amen.
And I cannot thank you guys enough for making me one of you.
I have an awful lot of things to be thankful for, and I can enumerate, this long, it's Christmas list, grocery list, whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I guess one of the greatest things is that that although they haven't found a cure, that AIDS, HIV became a manageable disease. And so I live every day as a person who has very successfully survived for 30 years. Amen.
We're real happy about that too.
Speak, sister.
I know I got 2 minutes. Woo! Yes, indeed. Good morning, MCC family. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
I wasn't going to say nothing, but God was basically saying, you little knucklehead, you need to go ahead, get up here and say what you got to say that I had delivered you to say. I thank God for each and every one of you throughout these years because, not going to lie, it's been a turbulent experience. But it's been a memorable one because the fact is I see nothing but the Holy Spirit in each of you that motivated me and basically brought me here this day. I just thank God so much. I don't even know how. It's just unexplainable, unimaginable words. He blessed me with my own place. He blessed me to graduate from school. I graduated on October 20th. And he just blessed me with just numerous amount of opportunities. So I thank God for each and every one of you for just basically bringing me here to basically be the person that I am today.
Amen.
Amen. I love you.
God won't leave me alone until I tell this. I became familiar with MCC in 1998 and attended a couple services. And from that time on, I wasn't in church anywhere else because the other churches wouldn't accept us like we are. And I felt God drawing me to MCC. Well, I really didn't know too much about MCC at the time. And he kept on and kept on. This is over a period of a good many years. And when Dale and I got married in 2013, we came here to do a marriage blessing and reception. And when I walked in the back door, I was home. I knew it.
We both knew it.
And in this almost 4 years that we've been here, God has opened so many doors for us, and we're involved in so much of the church. And I stay so excited sometimes I just can't hardly stand it. It's just amazing, and I'm so happy and so blessed to be part of this organization and this church.
Amen. Your last days here too.
Yes.
On our board.
Yesterday was a year when we lost our baby. He was born during the flood, and he lived 62 days. And we all prayed so much, and even though all the prayer, God didn't want him to stay here. He took him, finally took him back home, and he is really, even though Roman is dead a year yesterday, he's still here, and he's really changed all of our lives. I was caught in the flood and lost everything. The baby's mama, all of us lost everything. But God has blessed me with a new trailer for my daughter. And now my granddaughter that lost Roman, she graduated last week in the Naval Academy.
Amen.
And so God has really blessed. He gave us the baby, he took the baby, but I have no hard feelings because he was an angel when he was born, and God don't like angels on earth. He brought him back to heaven. So I'm thankful that we had him for 62 days.
I wasn't going to say anything, but God won't leave me alone. I woke up this morning, my back was hurting, I didn't feel good, I woke up grumpy, was texting my husband, who some of you knows back in Florida, I haven't seen him in a while. And I finally got up and got in the shower, and I expected to walk out and see my girls playing Barbies. I walk out, they're fully dressed. I said, I just don't know. We'll eat the chili for dinner. I don't feel good. I just don't want to hassle. And they're like, Mommy, we want to go to church.
Oh.
And they've grown up in a Catholic church. They have never said, I want to go to church. But they love it here. And I love you guys for accepting us. And I just love it. And Rhonda pulled me by my hair and said, you need to come. And she's not here, and I am, so just saying. She's in Florida, but so just thank you. So that just stirred my heart this morning to walk out and see them, and they're 8. They don't get up and get dressed and brush their hair for nothing, and they're so embarrassed right now. I'm sorry, love you. But yeah, they woke up and Mom, I want to go, and I was like, well, I'll go with my wet hair. Let me slap on some lip gloss and mascara, and we're out the door. So ignore my wet hair. But that was me not wanting to come. But God was like, no, you need to be here. So
Yeah.
John said he's the makeup artist over there.
yeah,
Still has that.
y'all look at my 5-minute makeup job.
He can fix all of us.
Good morning.
Morning.
like everybody else said, God kept telling me I need to speak. Like
God
I
has to
said,
listen up. God having to slap some people around.
it's like I said 4 years ago. Was the first day I ever walked in MCC Church, and I've always been a Christian and always been had God in my life, in my heart. And I grew up Catholic, and for I'd say since both my parents passed away, I've never really went back to church, the Catholic Church. And I have nothing against that. I have a lot of Catholic stuff left in me. But when I walked in this church, I felt I'm at home. And I've been a leader in the church in the last couple of years, and I was a board member, and I'm proud to be here, and this is my home. And Wednesday, God will be blessing me. Being here for 51 years, on the 12th, I'll be blessed to have already in my life to 15. Amen. Let's go.
Some of these people that used to would have never said a word out in public are finding their voice. Amen.
Sorry for hogging it a second time, but God's bothering me to say this. Morris reminded me that I've just realized I just passed my 10-year survivorship with HIV. And this is on top of the stellar doctor's visit the other day. Thank you, God.
That's so long ago that you couldn't have both of those statements. We do now. Going one.
Hi, my name is Nikki. I kind of just sit over here in the corner and hope nobody notices me. So, for me to stand up and talk is kind of a big deal. Get back here. But I've worked at a job for the last 4 years. I was very grateful when I got it, but the past year, I've noticed that it just hasn't been the right fit for me. And God this week has led me toward another job opportunity that I'm hoping is going to go really, really well. And I want to thank him for that, and I want to thank all of you guys, because I know if anything good happens in my life, I can come here and share it, and I don't really know if I have that other than these two losers right here.
I wanted to say that I've been really grateful that I was out only at age 16, and I found an MCC at a young age. There used to be flyers they put in the bars and bookstores back when we had a GLBT bookstore and all that. And the MCC was listed, and I found my way over there, the old church by LSU, and I've been going off and on for years. And I realized when I hear other people's stories that not everybody is so fortunate. And the ministers who have passed through all challenged me to grow my own spirituality, such as like last week's assignment to think of my higher power as the sheep. That wasn't the first challenge that I've ever got at this church that enabled me to grow my spirituality. And for those reasons, I'm really grateful that the MCC is here. I'm glad that other people have found it, because that's part also of my spiritual growth, to hear other people's concepts and ideas and share their own spirituality.
What makes us very different, I think, than most places.
Amen.
We're doubling back for you folks that haven't done it one time.
Once again, good morning. I've come such a long way. I came here to Baton Rouge when I was 17 years old, and I had no direction in life. I just got out of foster care and didn't know where my life was going. And I looked through the yellow pages and was like, where's a place for me? And I found MCC, and at the time it was on Foster, and came in and met a loving group of people. I've been through so many challenges, and throughout those challenges, this church has stood by me through all my ups and downs, my mess ups, but y'all have really pushed me, and y'all stood by me so much. And Morris, I have no just your love and kindness, your patience with me has just been unbelievable. And you know the things that I've been through. You know the things I've endured. And I say, I can't go back to the things that I used to do. I can't be the person that I used to be because God has placed my anointing on my life. Yes. And it's only blessing other people each time I tell this story, you know. And I'm just so thankful because I'm a nurse now. If any of you don't know, I'm also a convicted felon. What are the chances of that, to go from the pen to taking care of patients? It's absolutely amazing. That's nothing but God.
Yes.
Amen. And I just give him so much glory because in 2010 I also was diagnosed with HIV. And a year after that I was diagnosed with cancer. From now, at that time I'm 31 years old. And I don't look like what I've been through at all, as you can see. And I'm not going back. I'm only moving forward. And I'm just so thankful. I'm so thankful. And there's this song, I'm sorry, Pastor, I'm sorry, y'all, but there's this song, I've come too far, I can't go back from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. I can't give up now, no. I can't give up now. Amen, y'all.
Love you, John.
Thank y'all so much.
Hello, everybody. You know, the church has come a long ways from when we first came to Baton Rouge in the 80s forward. We started holding MCC in homes and going week to a different home, and then we finally got to the bookstore on Jefferson Highway and rented that space. Was the first. The church started growing, and then we went to LSU, and then I fell away. And then Cass and them came here and came back, and I came back, and it's been a blessing in my life ever since then. And Baton Rouge MCC has been a wonderful thing that has happened to this city, and through MCC and all the blessings that we get from God.
Yes, Lord. Thank you.
I want to read something to you before we close this part of our service. Psalm 105, verses 1 through 5, that Austin read to us a few minutes ago. Now that you've heard these words, listen to the words again that you heard to start with and see what they mean to you now. Give thanks to our God and call upon God's name. Make known God's deeds among the people. Sing to God. Sing praises to God and speak of all of God's marvelous works. Glory in God's holy name. Let the hearts of those who seek God rejoice. Search for God and God's strength. Continually seek God's face. Remember the marvels God has done. Now it means something even more deeply, doesn't it? Now that we've heard from one another and now we know each other's weeks and what's been going on in our lives and things that have happened, did you hear over and over and over that some rough times came and then God pulled you out of them? And don't we know that's going to happen? But when we're in the middle of all the mess, we don't always remember that we will get through the mess.
Yes.
And that God will see us through it, and that we can remember, if we can just remember, to stop in all of that. You know, one of the things that has happened since my dog Maddie passed away a few months ago, and y'all know she was my life, my joy outside of church, and sometimes I just can't get any peace around the house without her there. There's just no peace, and I'm running around and I'm crying and I'm having a time and a bad day and all that. And I'll go sit down and look out the window. I have a little bird feeder outside that window. That bird feeder constantly brings me peace. Constantly God speaks to me by watching those little birds come. All different kinds, all different sizes, and they just bless me. And I hear just God washing over me in their little chirps and their happiness and their wing fluttering. Sometimes they come and tap on the window. It's like they're tapping to get in or to get my attention. And I'm like, you God, I'm listening. I got it. I know you're here, God. Sometimes I think they want to come in and visit too on the inside, but I don't want to get inside because they won't be able to get out. I also want to give thanks to the Lord today for dreams, because sometimes those people or those precious four-footed family members come back to us and bring us peace in our dreams. Sometimes things work out in our dreams that we can't work out when we're away. Amen. And I'm so glad about that. And Austin got up and spoke a while ago and talked about what a blessing we have been to him, and how sometimes in our own isolation we forget that we are surrounded by love. That there are people around us that love us, even when we don't know it, even when we have not paid attention, even when they may not have said it, as in, I love you. Of course, maybe they've said, be careful when you leave. You know, that's another way of saying I love you. I'll be praying for you. That's another way of saying I love you. I'm here for you. Let me know if you need anything. That's another way of saying I love you. And how often do we hear I love you in other ways? And some of you don't know this. Austin has been rooming with me for a couple of months now. And today he's leaving us to go out of town. He's moving up to Pennsylvania. And we want him to find, there's not an MCC in the little town where he's going. I don't even know if there's 100 people in the little town where he's going. He has a calling to go there. And as we often do when someone is leaving us, we invite them to come, if you would. I know I'm putting you on the spot. If you would just come and stand right here. And we do this thing called ascending forth. That means we will send our love with you, and we send the blessing that you are. He's been a real blessing to me. I want you to know that. He has been a blessing at my house. He has been y'all know I don't do well living with people most of the time. He has been a real blessing to me. And I just want to say thank you for that. And thank God for sending you at a time that I needed you. Casson will tell you he's been praying for you to be there the whole time. That somebody would be there. He didn't like me to be there without Maddie. And then Austin showed up. So I have more furry creatures to take care of. But we are so delighted for your time here, not just in MCC worship, but as you said, in the greater community that meets in this building. Well, his constant testimony to me, and I think he's said this at least once a week since I've known him, is the blessing that he feels every time he comes onto this property and into this building. For whatever he's coming for. I don't mean just coming for worship, but coming for whatever. That he senses the presence of God in this place. He senses the presence of love and acceptance, and that he can be 100% Austin.
Amen.
And so I want to invite those of you who know him or don't know him or want to come and lay hands on him and pray for him to do so. If you will just come up, and we're going to do our blessing over him right now. And this will be the end of our sermon time. But we want to bless you the way you blessed us. Those of you that are at your seat, if you would just extend your hand this way and as a sign of unity to pray for him as we lay hands on him. God, thank you for our brother. Thank you for him blessing us with his presence here. Thank you for his personal blessing to me as his pastor and as his friend. I praise you, God, for the ministry that he carries with him everywhere he goes, for the blessing that he is wherever he goes. I thank you for the work he does behind the scenes. I thank you because he doesn't expect notoriety. He just wants to do something to make it count, to bless others. I thank you for the blessing that he was to our folks in Houston after the hurricane, and delivering goods and working and doing manual labor and coming home with blisters and even coming home without stuff. We gave his stuff away too, not meaning to, but thank you, God, that he is blessing people wherever he is. We ask you, God, that same presence of love he will take with him from Baton Rouge, that wherever life takes him, not just this leg of the journey, but in all legs of the journey, that you let him know he is loved, as we all are. Let this experience of being in this place with these people minister to him years from now and touch his heart and keep him settled when nothing else will. Give him peace when nothing else will. Give him hope when nothing else will. And let him always know that he is loved. We ask these things in the name of Jesus our Christ and all that is holy. Amen. Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. Again, thank you for watching our worship message video on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get notified of other video posts. You can also watch our worship service in its entirety by going to facebook.com/MCCBR. You can watch us live on Facebook at 11 a.m. Central every Sunday. Visit our webpage at mccbr.org, where you can find our calendar of events, as well as other information about our church and our denomination. Like our Facebook page so you can be notified of our other live events. Thank you again, and may you have a blessed week.
Whether here and now or another time, not even height or depth, whether strong or weak, in the face of the future or the powers that be, you are not separated.